All right, good morning. Good morning to everyone online. You're missing out on a great lunch today, but have your pen and paper ready. This is your first warning to have a pen and paper ready. We're going to be taking some notes. Bruce is going to put in the chat box the podcast documents that we're going to be taking notes on today for the conversation around legacy. So I'm really glad you're here. This is one of my favorite conversations to have today about legacy and what we leave when we leave, as my video said. So, but first I want to welcome Stacy Blake with Acclaimed Home Warranty. She's going to chat with you about the services and products they offer. Come on up.
Yay. Hello. Stacy Blake here with Acclaimed Home Warranty. A couple things I wanted to tell you and make sure that you knew. We're a family-owned company. So we do things a little bit differently. We're only in 7 states. We want to stay in 7 states. We don't want to get much larger. We don't want to be one of those huge call centers that all you can hear is everybody else in the warehouse talking. We want to be more of that hands-on velvet touch. And that's what we've been able to do. And we're going to keep doing that. I want to talk a little bit about R22 HVAC systems. Half of the United States still has the older system. So please keep in mind that our ultimate plan, our 625 plan in our brochure, covers that full conversion over to the new R410A system when that unit fails. So even if they keep that policy until they get a whole brand new system by us and they decide they don't want to renew, I just tell people take advantage of the opportunity to save the thousands of dollars. We do 2 HVAC services a year just to keep that system running smoothly. Make sure the electrical, right now we're in the furnace tune-up time. We want to make sure the electrical pieces and all those elements are safely and secure so we don't have any issues turning that heat on for the first time. Don't know when we'll have to do that. I think tomorrow is going to be 49. Don't know if we'll go so far as turning on the heat, but please keep me in mind. I'm here for you. I've been in the industry a decade now. I think I'm the oldest rep around locally that's running around the street. So I kind of know what I'm doing and I'd love to help you. If you have an inspection report you need me to look at to make sure that your clients are going to be fully taken care of by the home warranty, I'm happy to do that as well. So thank you so much for having me and I hope y'all have a great day.
Yay, and Bruce is putting all your information right now and chatting it up on the chat. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, and thank you for lunch and everything.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Amazing. She's got someone coming to fix her garage
I have
door.
a new garage door you put on today.
Oh, yay.
So I'm actually the client today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so much.
Stacey. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, good morning. We're gonna get started. We might have a short and sweet day, but I'm really excited because I listen to podcasts every morning, leadership podcasts that helps kind of get my mind straight for the day. And one of the ones I listen to pretty much all the time is John Maxwell's. And they're short and sweet. They're normally about 30 minutes. It will not be that long today because I'm only going to give you the John Maxwell portion and not the breakdown because we're going to break it down. But I'm really excited to share with you and talk to you guys today and just really have a conversation about legacy building and what it looks like for us to leave that legacy. And John's going to give us some tips on legacy building. So I'm excited about that. But to start, we're going to kick off. And to start. Thank you, Bruce. Okay, next slide. Bucket fills. Okay, this is my favorite part of the week is to hear all the fun, amazing things that y'all are doing or things that have happened to you. So what's the good stuff, guys? What do you got? What's the good stuff? Good stuff going on in your world?
Teamed up on a biggest commercial ever.
That's awesome. Biggest commercial deal ever that you teamed up and had good support in. I think you and Don teamed up.
Yeah, I got the list of it, but I'm not a commercial guy, so. Don Hill.
Don helped
A lot.
a lot. That's awesome. So thank you, Don, if you're listening. I know he's upstairs. Well, congratulations. That's a big deal. Awesome. What else we got? What other good things are going on? Bruce, did you have something? You were going to say something.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm getting new glasses. I haven't had these very long and I hate them.
Okay.
So I'm getting new ones, and so I'll be happier with my new glasses. So
That's a good thing.
yeah.
All right, what do we got online? Anybody online have some good stuff to chat about?
Feel free to unmute yourself. Here we go.
I do. It hasn't happened yet, but my parents are coming down from Wisconsin, and we're gonna go ATVing out in San Antonio. We'll probably go to the rodeo, and we just have a fun-filled weekend planned ahead.
That's awesome. Fun
Yeah.
weekends are the best. Seeing people is the best. That's awesome. Congratulations. Robert Butler said online, our theater department at Cedar Ridge had a record-breaking zombie experience. They raised $20,000 in profit for the students' theater program. So that's a huge opportunity for those kids and their theater program. If you get a chance to go next year, definitely check it out. Plan for some time, but man, I've heard great things about it. So way to go, Robert and Cedar Ridge Theater Club. That's awesome. What else? Anyone else?
Kristen, I think, just got my $10,000 back.
Yay! Yeah, let's call Kristen if you need me to threaten
Oh man,
somebody.
if you want to call Kristen, and within 2 minutes, people start calling back.
Yeah, last week I got to celebrate my son's 17th birthday. It was pretty awesome. He's just a really cool kid. And, and I enjoyed the fact that he had a friend come over. And if you have teenagers, that aren't social, mine is not social. It's a big deal for a non-social teenager to be social all weekend. So he did shut down Sunday night. He's like, I'm going to my room. No one talk to me. And that's okay. That's totally okay. But he had a great weekend and I enjoyed celebrating his birthday last week. So that was really cool. That filled my bucket, kept us busy. Of course, Halloween was crazy. Did anyone have a crazy Halloween? So in our neighborhood, we had over 585 kids.
Oh my God.
So that was a lot. And I still had like large buckets of candy left over. So apparently I overbought because that was from trunk or treat and for the house. So we had an amazing trunk or treat last week. Thank you to everyone who joined us. And if you couldn't, that's okay. We'll do it again next year. But it was great. We even got a great review online from somebody from the public who came in, which was really neat and was like, my kids haven't had an opportunity to do anything cool this year. And so this was really neat for them to have something to look forward to. So that was really neat and kind of gave me the warm and fuzzies in my heart. So we had a good time doing that. So great time. All right. Anybody else? Bucket fills.
I have one.
Okay, Nova, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I had my first buyer client, so I'm pretty excited with that. So, we're working on an offer. So that's like for work, and then for personal. So my birthday is next week, and I'm going on a girls' trip to Fredericksburg, and I've never been. So we're gonna hike Enchanted Rock and then go to some wineries. Yay!
Yay! I'm a little biased about Enchanted Rock. I love it because that's where my husband proposed. He made me climb the rock and then propose. So you'll love it. It's such a pretty view. I'll have to tell you the rest of the story later. That's really funny, but anyways, it's got a great. Fredericksburg is great, and they have a great pastry shop. I forget the name of it, but there's a great pastry shop there. So, and you said it was your birthday next week, right?
Yes, it's the 10th, and I've never been to Fredericksburg. I've always just driven past it going out of town. So I'm excited to go see what it's all about and explore the town and all of that stuff. So I can't wait.
Well, happy early birthday, fellow Scorpio. Yay, that's awesome. It's a great time. You'll enjoy it. They have great barbecue, great food, great sights, good shopping. So just wear your boots. Not to climb the rock, wear tennis shoes. Awesome. Anybody else? Hi, Terry. I see you. It's so good to see you.
Hi.
Terry in a while, but it's good your face. Awesome. Okay, well, let's move on. Next thing is November birthdays. We have a lot of November birthdays, and they're always super exciting. So we have Markel, me, yay, Lupe, Stacy, Eric, Nova, Gary, Karen, Brenda, Maggie, Tex, Britt, Nelvia, Doug, Judy, Danielle, Mary Thornton, Megan, Elizabeth, or Liz, Omar, Rose, Susie. Happy birthday, Susie. I see you on here. And Liz, I see you on here. Okay, and Jerry. So happy birthday, November birthdays. Such a great month. All kinds of fun stuff. Okay. And then we also have some awesome work anniversaries. So happy anniversary. And I don't know if y'all get to see it, but if you haven't checked it out yet, I looked at it this morning. We have an anniversary video on our Facebook page. So you get to see pictures. If you don't know who these people are, haven't got a chance to meet them yet, and get to see how long they've been with us. So happy anniversary to Savannah, to Shannon, Gary. There's two Garys, Gary Curran and Gary Wilson, who's right here. Happy anniversary. Justin, Tex, John, and Trisha, Natasha, Cindy, Paul, Siobhan, Sarah, Candace, and I said Gary earlier, so happy anniversary. Gary, you've been with us 6 years?
I think so.
6 years, yeah. All right. That's awesome. Okay, so we are at the point of podcast. Bruce has shared, you want to share it one more time just in case people, okay, perfect. Bruce is awesome. So I'm going to prepare you right now. For those of you who are audio learners, you're going to love this because it's going to be all voice. Bruce is going to put a really cool video, I think, behind while John Maxwell is talking. But it's a really great podcast. And if you are somebody who takes a lot of notes, I will warn you, John talks fast. Okay, so if you miss a blank on the form that you have, the podcast form that I gave you, it's okay because I have pre-filled them out and I will go back over the blanks. Okay, so that way you're not missing out on something and you don't get stuck there, because I really want you to hear the thought process behind building a legacy. And here's why I felt like this is important. We're at the time of the year where we're starting business planning and dream boarding and vision boarding and all these things in preparation for what next year, accomplishments we want to plan for. And a lot of times we get stuck. We get stuck in figuring out, is it the numbers I'm following it? Is the money I'm following? Is it the vacations? Is it family time? What is it? What is my why? And oftentimes we forget it's about the significance behind it all. So it's what those deals get you. It's what the money can buy for you. And a lot of times it's the vacation you need to take care of the family time you haven't had, to give memories to the people that you want to have memories with that leaves a legacy. It's in those moments, it's in those teaching moments that oftentimes we forget is why we're doing the things we're doing, right? It's not just keeping us busy. It's not just, filling bellies and putting roofs over our heads. It's the moments, it's the significance. It's those little things, right? And so when I was listening to this, and I said earlier, I listen to John Maxwell podcast almost every morning. And I listened to this and I thought, this is imperative that we know this, that we understand what it looks like to legacy build. And even more so, even if we have that legacy planned or we know what significance we're after, what happens is we forget to bring people along with us. And I think what John touches on in this, and I hope you hear this, is that it's about who you walk beside and influencing those lives and helping them find their significance, helping them build their legacy, right? And I feel like that's even bigger. That's that little drop in the ocean that creates that current, right? That little gust of wind that blows those waves in that makes it so big, right, in other people's lives. So I think that's super important as we go forward, that we don't just focus on the surface level stuff and we really look within and go, okay, what is my plan to build significance? So I feel good about what I'm doing when I go home at the end of the day, or I go home with people I love, or I go whatever it is, and what have I done in my day that has built significance that might be leaving a legacy. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take a seat, and we're going to just listen to John talk to us about building a legacy.
When I talk about legacy, I'm talking about something that you leave behind. That's what a legacy is. It's something that you leave behind. It could be possessions that we pass on to the next generation. It could be people that we have influenced. And it could be principles that we have lived and taught. But here's what I know. To some degree, when we pass on, we will leave behind some possessions, some people, and some principles. They may be good, they may be bad. It may be a good legacy, it may be a negative legacy, but we will leave them behind. Robert Gannon said, all true civilization is 90% heirlooms and memories, an accumulation of small but precious deposits left by the countless generations that have gone on before us. Achieving the legacy that you want to leave, this entire title of the lesson suggests two things. One, we have to work for the legacy that we want to leave. The word achieving tells me that no one leaves a good legacy without effort. And what we leave behind tells probably how we got ahead. And secondly, the title of this lesson suggests that we have a choice in the legacy that we want to leave. Again, it's the title, Achieving the Legacy You Want. You see, you want everyone. See, everyone can choose the legacy that they will leave. In building a legacy, we must choose to become personally accountable. The title of this lesson also suggests one other thing, is that we will leave a legacy. Someone will be influenced by your legacy. And when we talk about a legacy, there are people who have influenced us. There are people that have influenced you by accident. Is that not true? I mean, they didn't really listen to a sophisticated lesson on legacy like you're privileged to listen to, but they influenced you. They didn't even know that they were influencing you, perhaps. My grandpa Maxwell, my dad's dad, had a very strong determination, a strong will. Had a tremendous influence upon my young life. My grandma Rowe, my mother's mother, loved to travel. And I kind of caught the traveling bug from her. My mother loved me unconditionally. In the 5th grade, Mr. Horton really gave me a love for history because it came alive to 5th grade. And Wayne McConaughey, who lived right beside me when I was growing up, we'd watch ball games together. That's where I really developed a love for sports. And then there are people who have influenced me on purpose. In other words, they realized that they had an influence with me, and so they decided that they were going to come alongside of me, and in perhaps a mentoring relationship, or at least in some kind of an extended friendship, they were going to pour into my life and deposit into my life things that would help me to be a better person. John Wooden, Coach Wooden of the UCLA Bruins, is one of those people. And the statement that you have in your notes right here is one that he gave me. There's a choice that you have to make in everything you do. So keep in mind that in the end, the choice you make makes you. That's powerful. If I've read that once, I've read it 100 times. It helps me to understand the importance of choices. Some people influence us on purpose, some not on purpose, but they're leaving a legacy. So how do you and I on purpose achieve the legacy that we want to leave? Number one, know the legacy that you want to leave. I guess the question I ask each one of you that are listening today, and of course, a Maximum Impact Club listener, the question I'd ask you is, what do you want to leave your family? In other words, if you're going to deposit something of a legacy to your family, you've got to know what you want to leave. What I want to leave others beyond the family, I want to leave a generation of better leaders behind me. I want to leave more leaders and better leaders. kind of a bottom line for that is I just really want to add value to the lives of others. And questions that will help you to know the legacy that you should leave, because probably right now as you're writing this down and taking the notes, you're saying, well, how can I really kind of center in on how I know what kind of a legacy I want to leave? And I think there are 3 questions you want to ask yourself. What are my responsibilities? In other words, what are the things I'm doing now? What are my abilities? The things I do well. And what are my opportunities? The things I should be doing. And if you'll really look at those questions and work it through your own life, you'll begin to form and begin to know what you need to leave to your children and to those around you. It is a true statement. It's in your notes. Most people feel best about themselves when they give their best to something greater than themselves. So if you want to achieve the legacy that you want to leave, number 1, you got to know the legacy that you want to leave. You got to know where you're going. That's very simple and obvious. You've got that. The second thing you want to do is you want to live the legacy that you want to leave. You not only want to know what you want to deposit in the lives of others, but you got to flesh it out. In your notes, you don't get to choose how you're going to die or when. You can only decide how you're going to live. And in your notes, the old Middle Eastern blessing, when you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. May you live your life so that when you die, the world will cry, and you will rejoice. To achieve the legacy that we want to leave, number 1, know the legacy you want to leave, and 2, live the legacy you want to leave, and number 3, use all the possible ways to pass on to others the legacy you want to leave. In other words, don't just do one thing, do many things. Be creative. People learn 89% visual, 10% audio, 1% through the other senses. So become creative in the ways that you want to pass on your legacy. And one of the great ways to pass on your legacy is to find out what their strength zone is and what they do well, and settle there with things that are very important to them. We found that to be very true with our children. When our daughter Elizabeth was very young, she loved gymnastics, and I'll never forget when the Los Angeles Olympics, Maria got tickets and took her up to see the gymnasts in the Olympics to try to help to spur the dream and kind of help it a little bit. Our son was a techie kind of guy, and I know nothing about technology. I'm still looking for them to come back with just a good on and off switch. But our friend Paul Nanny was good with technology, and so kind of made a deal with him. I would mentor him if he'd spend time with my son. And they'd go out into the workshop and they'd spend hours together. I was trying to be as creative as I could in trying to help Joel with his strength zone, but be creative. Look at all kinds of ways to pass on your legacy. Number 4, choose those who can best pass on the legacy that you want to leave. I'm speaking specifically now outside of the family. If you have a business, if you have an organization, you want to leave a legacy, pass it on. Legacies that matter are connected with people. And 100 years from now, all that will matter are the people that you connected with in such a way that you added value and meaning to their lives. You see, the final test of leadership is this: how the group performs when you're not around. Have we poured enough into those around us that when we're not around, they do well? And the ability to develop capable successors is the hallmark of great leaders. Ultimately, if your people can't do it without you, you haven't been successful in raising up other leaders. In my book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, the law of legacy says a leader's lasting value is measured by succession. So here's the question: how do you develop leaders? Well, the answer is kind of simple. Find potential leaders. But as soon as you write that down, you realize I really haven't answered the question. The second question: how do you find potential leaders? And the answer to that is know what they look like. Know what they look like. You've got to have a picture. When I wrote the 21 indispensable qualities of a leader and the 17 essential qualities of a team player. All I did in those 2 books was give a picture book. The 21 Qualities is a picture book of what a leader looks like. The 17 Qualities is a picture book of what a team player looks like. And what I tell leaders all the time is if you don't know what a team player looks like, get the book and write the qualities down on a piece of paper. When you're interviewing somebody, just go through those qualities and say, does this person have this? Does this person have this? Now, why do we need to do that? Because if we're going to have a legacy, we have to choose who we're going to leave the legacy with, and our choice of who we're going to deposit our legacy in is going to greatly determine the success, the ongoing success of our business. You see, potential leaders, let me just give you a quick picture here. Potential leaders make things happen. So when people say, well, how do I know a potential leader? The first thing I tell them is go find somebody that makes things happen. That's exactly where you start. Let me just say it this way. Listen to me, my friend. If you can't make things happen for yourself, you can't make things happen for anyone else. So don't even go there. Have you ever known anybody, they couldn't produce or give any results, but they thought they could go produce somebody that could give results? Like begets like. So do they make things happen? Number 2, do they influence others? Leadership is influence. So you look for the quality of influence. Or do they have the ability to influence others? 3, here's a simple one. Do they think differently than followers? And 4th, do they possess strong relational skills? Number 5, do they add value to others? Oh my goodness. Pictures of a leader, what they look like. Get the picture of a leader and then go find them. You've got to choose who can best pass on the legacy that you want to leave. Number 5, you have to teach them. You have to teach them the legacy that you want to leave. We have all heard that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I also believe when the teacher is ready, the student appears. In my early years of teaching leadership, I had very few students. My wife Margaret used to go to those conferences with me and say, John, you're killing the people. You're just killing them. Do you have to teach them everything you know about leadership? You're killing them. She said, just look at them. They're begging for mercy. Set them free, John. Let them go. Set them free. But I was passionate. It was just a small crowd. And I had more stuff. I just poured on, and I had high energy. And I kind of look at everybody and say, wow, these are wimpy people. They need to get, what's wrong with these people? Now that I look back, it's with great amusement. With great amusement. You see, there's a relationship. It is true that when the teacher appears, when that teacher comes to maturity, the students will appear too. You basically will probably have just about the crowd that you deserve. Water seeks its own level. And what I've discovered is in pouring lives into others and teaching them, teaching is effective when the following occurs. Number 1, the students are motivated. And by the way, let me just stop here for a moment and say, you have no idea how much fun it is to teach you. I mean, your head's down half the time taking notes. Either that or you're playing tic-tac-toe with your friend right beside you. I mean, you're just soaking this up. A lot of you are young leaders, and you're just soaking it up. And it's a lot of fun to teach people that love to learn and love to grow. And students are motivated. That's the first thing. Teaching becomes effective when students are, but second, when the lessons are practical. In other words, when you can understand them. And not only understand them, but when you can apply them. Isn't it wonderful to learn something that you can take home with you immediately and apply? Isn't it wonderful to learn something that really works? Thirdly, when the resources are provided. When not only do we teach, but we provide resources that really complement what we teach. And number 4, when assignments are given. And number 5, when accountability is requested. Number 6, teach others to teach others. The legacy that you want to leave. Wow. Teach others to teach others. The legacy you want to leave. Paul told Timothy, this is the verse I've used for, oh my goodness, 30 years. Pass on what you have heard from me to reliable leaders who are competent to teach others. You see, Timothy teaches us, number one, be a river, not a reservoir. Pass on what you've heard from me. Let it flow through you. Be a river. Don't dam it up. Don't hold it for yourself. Don't try to hold it to yourself. Number two, pick the right people to pass on the legacy, because he said, be sure to do this with reliable leaders. And thirdly, expect them to pass it on to the next generation. Because he said these reliable leaders need to be competent what to teach others. In other words, let this legacy go for 3 generations. And number 7, believe in those you leave. Believe in the people that you instill this legacy. Elton Trueblood wrote, we have made at least a start in discovering the meaning in human life when we plant shade trees under which we know full well we will never sit. Those who leave a legacy have a long view of life. They know that before they came, someone built a bridge for them. And they know that as they leave, they must build a bridge for someone who will come behind them. Let me just kind of wrap this up. I close with this statement because it's so true. Leaving a good legacy is a way of saying thank you. Thank you to God, life, family, and others.
All right. John always laying it down on all the amazing topics. But this one I think is so important, because a lot of times we move forward, talking about real estate and running your business or your lives. We move forward to the next deal, to the next step. And we don't think about maybe the others that we have an opportunity to pour into, or who's pouring into us. And I think that's important, that we know and acknowledge those things, acknowledge our abilities, our responsibilities, our opportunities. I want to know kind of what you guys heard, if you're online or even here. What stuck out to you the most in regards to achieving the legacy you want to leave?
I filled it out, copying what they said. I think this would be, my stepson is going to have a baby next month. And that would be a good thing to teach him and a girl what to do when she grows.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
This is Terry.
Yeah, Terry.
Hey, I was trying to catch everything that he was saying to fill in the blanks, but I missed a few. But what I wanted to share was, I guess in the past, I was a hiring supervisor, and sometimes, when you hire people, you share the knowledge with them, they take it in. And then I guess what I got out of him today was, learning and sharing the knowledge, no matter what you're doing, whether it's with your family or in a job, share that knowledge so we can keep, moving forward.
I love that. I love that because, oftentimes we don't realize it, right? For us, when you're bringing, like, let's say for you, when you're onboarding someone, you're sharing this knowledge, and that's just what you do. That's what you love to do. It was your job. It was your career. And yet those little bitty pieces go home with those people at the end of the day.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And when their kid has a moment, or their son raises a daughter, or whatever that might be, those pieces of knowledge come out in those moments, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah, share what you know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? What else did you hear?
I like that it's a choice, like everything else in life. Choices are very, very important. So that's what I'm trying to teach my son right now. Make the right choice, make the right choice, think about your choices. And I like that. He said that.
Yeah. Yeah, choices are important, and oftentimes we forget that too. It's just that next step, you keep moving along, sometimes not even thinking about it. And then all of a sudden we're like, wait, there's a decision in this, right? There's a decision in this. And sometimes our influence, like you said with your son, your influence over him is going to help him make those choices when he's 25 and has to make a really hard life decision at some point, right? That influence stays with people. Like if that's one thing you take away, everything you do, the words that you say, the way you behave, it stays with people and comes out at the most opportune time, oftentimes when they're making choices.
Love that. I really love in concert with that you like right at the beginning called out that it is a choice, but even when you don't make a choice, you're still having an influence. So by not deciding for it to be positive, you're kind of apathetically choosing negative.
Yeah, that's huge too. Being aware. Yeah, we've all experienced, I think, a moment in time when a leader was a little apathetic to making a decision or in
Or
general.
when we have,
Yeah.
not shown up intentionally and then that influence was left instead of the one you wanted.
Yeah,
the
Jason talked about that in his class on Friday. Thank you to all those who were able to join us. It was a great class, and we'll try to get him out here to do another one. But Jason Vincent talked about, it's not even about the first impressions, right? It's about the last impression. Like people remember you by the last impression you left with them. And so I think it's huge when we realize our responsibility in our behaviors, our communication, our interactions, our relationships. I think when we realize that that moment in time might be the last moment that someone remembers, the weight of that is huge, right? The weight of the responsibility is huge. We got anybody else online wants to share?
This is Corinne. This goes
Corinne.
along with what Terry was saying, but the quote, be a river and not a reservoir. And I think that just has so much potential for all of us because we're so eager to learn and be better and always be the best version of ourselves. And I think that part of that process is also remembering to pass on what we learn to other people too.
Has anybody, I love that. And let me take a show of hands. If you're online, you could do the little hand gesture thingy. Who has had an agent, another agent, either in this office or outside this office, help you with something? Right? Okay. That's influence. That's a river, right? And that's one thing I love about being here in this family. I think we all is family. Is that there's nowhere where you can't go that there's not someone who will pour into you their knowledge, their understanding, even if it's contractual questions or just being ear to ear. So I love that and so important. This is another thing that I think we get hung up on because we're in sales, right? We're in sales. I don't want to feel salesy. I don't want to talk to that person because they're going to think I'm trying to sell them something. No. We're the relationship business. And we have a responsibility to do what? To share, to pour into other people, to help protect them, sometimes in the biggest financial investment they're making. So sometimes when we're getting out there and we're talking to people, or if you have a fear of it, I had a huge, for 2 years when I first started real estate, I didn't even want to talk to my friends and family because I didn't want to sell them anything. Because they know me as Kristen, happy-go-lucky, Kristen, let's hang out, let's have coffee, let's go to dinner. Not like, hey, do you want to buy a house? And yet when I shared with them why I cared about their transactions, it changed. And my ability to communicate with them, my competency, my confidence level, that all changed because they wanted to hear what I had to say and I had so much to offer, right? But for 2 years, I damned that stuff up because I was scared. I was fearful of what people would think of me, right? And I know there's so many out there, so many agents at all different levels of business who are trying to grow, whether it's in production numbers or just to grow personally. And we get scared and we dam up all that stuff that's really important for other people to hear. So be a river, right? Be a river. I love it. Thank you, Corinne. What else? Anybody else? Oh, thank you, Liz. The office is awesome with sharing their knowledge. I agree. We have some awesome agents. Sometimes y'all have to call on some of those agents and be like, hey, I have this deal. What do you think? Right? I need some of that knowledge sometimes. What else? Anybody else?
I think so.
People want a friend they can trust to hear real estate advice from not a stranger. Yeah, 100%. I think they just, John also says, you know, people don't, so okay, you're sorry. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right? And that's so important because people just want to know that they're not a number, they're not just another deal, they're not just another friend. Have you ever had friends, like, have you ever felt like the third wheel? Like, I've been there, I'm like, this is weird. But then when someone includes you, it's different. It doesn't feel like that. Your experience is different, right? Another thing, and we have definitely some, I think every single person on this call has leadership traits that need to be shared. And as we go into the season, I'm picking leadership council. We're looking for people who want to move up into leadership and leadership round rock. There's so many opportunities to share your leadership. Maybe you lead a Bible study. Maybe you lead a sports meetup. There's just so many opportunities to lead. And I think sometimes we think we can do it all. Like, I've got this, I'm the leader, here, let me take this, oh, let me take this, yeah, you do a good job, but let me take this, I'll do it, right? And what happens is we get overwhelmed, we get burnt out, and then our experience and the influence we have, it changes. There's something that changes. And so I want to encourage everyone that as you move into goal setting and planning vacations, planning your time off, whatever that looks like, that you look for opportunities in your life to raise up or walk beside people who also could show up as leaders in your life. People that you can lean on and move into the direction of leadership to carry on your legacy. And it could be one of your children, it could be a good friend, it could be someone you never even met, and all of a sudden you start a conversation, you're like, this person is the person. I'm going to pour into that person. I'm going to grow that person. A lot of teams and agents right now are leveraging by making hires in their world. This is another opportunity to leave your legacy and to walk beside somebody and help them grow. It also offers you significance. It's so not about you. Sorry, guys. It's not about you. It's about them. And in the end, guess who gets to feel good? Us. It's intrinsic. Like, it comes back tenfold here. Anybody else want to talk about what they heard? Any parts that were missed that you want to know, let me know, shout it out, and I can read you the words if you missed any, because I know that's frustrating.
Number 4.
Number four is choose those who can best pass on the legacy you want to leave.
Thank you.
And then in the bottom, how the group performs when you're not around. That's the final test of leadership, right? How the group performs when you're not there. Any other numbers? My absolute pleasure. Okay. If you need others, let me know, or you can text me. I encourage you, if you ever get an opportunity, to listen to the John Maxwell podcast. He has multiple different ones, but the leadership one is awesome. And if you want to come talk to me about what it looks like to do some coaching through John Maxwell, come talk to me. I'm happy to help you there too. All right, what's our next slide, Bruce?
Well, let's see. Let me get us back to that. Next up, training.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick training update. I want to just share with you all the stuff we've got going on in the Market Center. We're getting
There we go. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so training calendar. So we had a great Ignite session on Monday with Melissa Kelly. Tomorrow we have an Ignite session with Michelle Sherwood. So she's going to be in here teaching Spark with finding seller leads. Y'all, we've got to work on our listings. This is an opportunity for you. If you want the best first quarter you ever had, it starts today. November to December, December to January, January to February. You're going to close the deals that you start working on today between January and February, right? So seller leads, that's a great one. Doesn't matter how long you've been in business, you can do that one. And then from 2 to 4, we have a campaign class on Facebook and ads and direct mail tomorrow from 2 to 4. Yay! Okay, so the next on Thursday, we have our mindset class with Jason Vincent. Again, if you were at the class on Friday, you know he's amazing. And he does a mindset Zoom call every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. The Zoom link is on the training calendar. Then we have a survey class. So if you need to know how to read a survey, you have detailed questions, high-level questions about, reading a survey, responsibilities around a survey, what the title covers, what should you be looking for, how should you explain it to your client. You need to be at this class on Thursday from 10 to 12. So check that out. And then also Thursday afternoon on the Sunday email that you got, that I know so many of you are opening, so thank you, we work hard on that. We had a class with Win with Sellers. Unfortunately, the teacher who was going to teach that class for us, he had vocal cord surgery not too long ago, and he's going to have to rest his vocal cords a little longer than expected. So we have now put in Organize Your Career with Google Workspace. This is an awesome class. You're going to want to join that one as well. Because, I mean, who doesn't need a little organization, right? And then what do we have on Friday? Anything on Friday? So luxury learning, and that's a KW Connect class. Next slide.
Also want to point out one more if I
Oh,
can.
did I miss it? I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's just a good one. On Wednesday, from 3 to 4, it's the Lifeline with Gary Keller, Jay Papazan, Jay Stabrum. So they go over whatever topic or whatever Gary wants to talk about, and just a powerful group of people. If you can jump on that, it'll be on the front page of KW Connect at 3 p.m. tomorrow. So if you can catch that, that's awesome too. That's a good one. Okay, next thing.
All right, so next Tuesday is our Thanksgiving potluck for the office. Hopefully you signed up. If you haven't, there's still an opportunity. Go to kwroundrock.com and you can sign up there under events. It is going to be at the Lakeview Pavilion at Old Settlers Park. Under that big pavilion, there will be bathrooms. We're all going to be hanging out. It's going to be a little chilly, so dress appropriately. I think the cold starts rolling in tomorrow. It's supposed to be like the high of 66 tomorrow. And then Thursday is supposed to be like in the 50s. So yay for sweater weather. I'm excited. Anyways, it's going to be a fun potluck. The Market Center is ordering all the meat. So we'll have lots of meat there. And so y'all, I think, are bringing side dishes. So it's from 11 to 1. In lieu of our team meeting, we will see you there at Old Settlers. Again, Auto Connect, I just want to have a quick conversation around Auto Connect. If you're not doing this yet or you're interested, please reach out. We're also working on, so you get 2 pieces a month. You either get a postcard with either data, it looks like this, or events. that are hyper local. So for instance, the events that went out for this past season were like where to go for pumpkin patches and fall festivals and stuff like that. Moving forward, there will be winter events and other awesome opportunities that are coming up. So you'll get you get an economist of choice postcard, which is kind of like the one you just saw. It's more about market stats. Then you have an events postcard, and then you have a newsletter that goes out on your behalf. Your face goes on there, your branding goes on there, and it goes directly to people you know who you're communicating with. We can start with a minimum of 50 people. You pay for it through us. I think right now it's $1.49 a person that you want to put on it, but we handle all the material. We send it out just to make sure everything's good. You give us a thumbs up, and then it goes out to your database. You don't even have to think about it. And coming soon for this will also be a digital piece. So if you're doing that 40 touches a year, this is a really important part to that. And again, it's kind of like the easy button. You don't really have to think about it. Just send it out. And they work. I was at a career event, and somebody there was actually like a maybe director of agent services from another market center. And they said, hey, is this agent still in your office? And I said, actually, yeah, she is. She's like, oh, tell her I'm getting her marketing. I love it. I love seeing all the slides. Now this person, I guess, had already gotten to real estate. However, it's working. People see this. You know, Casey's whole team sends this out as well. But these typically, a lot of people say, well, what if we overlap? I think we maybe found one person that is overlapped, and we carry a lot of agents who run this. So, because it's your personal database this goes to, minimum 50 people. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, and then Bruce is gonna close us out.
Yes, with a Steve Harvey video where the sound will work this time. Go ahead, say that to make it happen.
You know, when you do the thing that you're born to do, is nothing else you could have done. There's nothing else I could have possibly done. I was born to do this. God gave me this gift. I discovered it, and I used it. You've got to discover your God-given gift. Your gift is the thing you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. As soon as you discover that, your life changes. You have two important days in your life: the day you're born and the day you discover why. The why is directly tied to your gift. It is the thing God gave to you at birth. All of you are gifted, everybody in here. Everybody in this room is gifted. You just got to quit looking at it as running, jumping, singing, and dancing. There are other gifts. Once you identify that gift, the Bible says your gift will make room for you and put you in the presence of great men. That's what your gift will do. You got to discover that. Just sit down with yourself and think, what is it you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort? What is that? That's what you do. If teaching is your thing, teaching is it. If connecting the dots, networking is it, networking it is. Is some people are careful people better. Some people babysit. Come on, man, do what you're going to do. Because babysitters turn into daycare centers. Daycare centers turned into businesses. Those businesses turn into millions of dollars. Look, I'm going to tell you something real. You can be rich if you make the decision to be rich. You just got to stop trying to think of how to make $1 million. If you could think of how to make $1 million, wouldn't you have done it by now? You don't need to think of how to make $1 million. You need to think of this gift if you have that can make you $10. $10. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have something that you could do that you could charge someone $10 for? I don't care if it's braiding hair, cutting grass. I don't care if it's making beads. I don't care if it's making clothes. All of you have something. You can tutor somebody for $10. You can babysit somebody for $10. Then guess what you do? Go do that. Then when you make the $10, I want you to do it 10 more times. You'll have $100. After you do that 10 times, I want you to do it 10 more times. Whatever you did to make $100, do it 10 more times. You'll have $1,000. After you make $1,000, here's what I want you to do. Whatever you did to make the $1,000, listen to me, I want you to do it 10 more times. You will have $10,000. Now, here's the hard part. When you make $10,000, here's what I want you to do. Take that $10 thing that you made $10,000 with, and I want you to do it 10 more times. Just multiply all of your efforts by 10. That 10,000 turns into $100,000. Now, after you make $100,000, you're going to have to hire some people. They're going to have some people working for you so you can keep doing it in multiples of 10. But after you make $100,000, I got news for you. I want you to listen to this real careful. Here's what you have to do. This is the catch. Whatever you did to make $100,000, listen to me. You have to do that 10 more times. Once you do that 10 more times, congratulations. You are now a millionaire. That's how it works. These jokes I tell, I didn't start making millions. I made $25 a night when I first started. I made $25 a night. But I kept doing it over and over and over till I started $50. Then I charged $100 a night, $125 a night, $150 a night, $250 a night, $1,000 a night, $5,000 a night, $50,000 a night, $100,000 a night, $200,000 a night, $500,000 a night. I stood somewhere for $1 million a day. But I've been doing this 30-some years. I just keep multiplying my efforts by 10. That's how it's done. Simplify it. Quit tripping on the million. Make $10 and just keep doing it. I got a partner, he cut grass the whole time we was growing up. He used to charge $2 for the front and $2 for the back. He made $4. We used to laugh at him every time we wanted to go somewhere. Now, wait a minute, you want to go with us? No, I'm cutting grass. We used to call him Hedge Clip. Hedge Clip, just cut grass. We used to laugh. We go to parties. He didn't want to go. I got to get up and cut Miss Jackson grass in the morning. He ain't never want to go. Yeah, we laughed at his ass. Well, guess what? He in Cleveland, Ohio today. He's 60 years old. You know how much he make a year? He makes $4 million US a year. You know what he do? He cut grass. He don't do nothing but cut grass. He got every contract in the city. He done bought 38 trucks. He got 38 trucks out on the road now. And when it's snow outside, since he do such a good job cutting grass, they let him remove the snow with plows on the trucks. He making $4 million a year. You know what his ass do? He cut grass. For $4. Did it and did it and did it. And that's how it works, y'all. That's the secret.
Pretty cool. So reminding of the saying, it is time on task over time, right? So it's looking at that. What can you do? Most people think, how can I make $1 million, right? The real secret is, what is something that you can do and repeat it multiple times until you've earned $1 million, right? And then just one up it, or 10x it, right? Like you were saying. So yeah, that's it. You're gonna build your legacy and become wealthy. Great meeting today.
Awesome. Okay, well, we appreciate you all. Have an amazing week. If you need me, I will be here and would love to talk with you. And I hope you have just an amazing week and somebody influences your life in a positive way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Kristen, Bruce, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Awesome. Go to lunch, please. Eat enough for 5 people.